Today on our 2017 Ford F-350 Super Duty, we're going to be installing the TruXedo TruXport Soft Roll-Up Tonneau Cover, part number TX279101. Add a great look to your truck while keeping your gooseneck, fifth wheel, or gear dry with the TruXedo TruXport Soft Roll-Up Tonneau Cover. When used in conjunction with a locking tailgate, your truck bed is completely secure. It's economically priced compared to most tonneau covers, and it's a great alternative to your traditional snap-on style covers. When you're ready to access your truck bed, the cover rolls all the way up just behind your cab. Simply push down on the lever on both sides and begin rolling it up. The safety straps hold it in place and prevent it from unrolling. It's an easy clamp-on installation. The padded rails sit about 1.5 inches high on top of our truck bed side rails. Here on the inside, the rails sit flush. The clamps themselves are out about 1 inch. It uses straight rather than arched bows, so you're always going to get that smooth, aerodynamic look. And the dual latching mechanism has built-in preset tension control. The rails feature hook and loop sides, so it's going to help keep the cover tight in any climate. The whole thing is made out of an industrial strength vinyl fabric material, so it's going to stand up to the elements. Now that we've gone over the features, I'll go ahead and show you how to get it installed. First thing we need to do is determine if our truck has a drop-in bed liner, a spray-on bed liner, or nothing at all. Since it does have a spray-on bed liner, we need to apply the bulkhead seal to the tonneau cover assembly itself. If it was just the paint and metal and no bed liner whatsoever, we would be applying the bulkhead seal directly to the bulkhead here. I've gone ahead and set my cover assembly on the back of the tailgate here. We'll take our included weather seal and we're going to apply it directly on top of the other weather seal already applied to our cover. So I'll keep it rolled up. I'm just going to start right here and then work my way down. Once we get to the end, if we have any excess, we can just cut it off with a pair of scissors. As for the paper on top, we can just peel that back. It's just to protect it, to keep it from getting damaged. After putting it in place, if you'd like to, you can just kind of come back and apply some extra pressure just to make sure that it's stuck on there good. With everything in place, let's go ahead and set it up next to our cab. The weather seal here needs to set directly on top of the bulkhead. Now it doesn't need to be perfect, we're just going to set it in place for now. And you need to be sure that if it were to be unrolled, that it unrolls towards the tailgate end. Now let's go ahead and grab one of our rails. We'll set it in place and then we're going to plug it into our assembly. So we'll start with the driver's side here. Our next step is we need to install some weather seals on the corners of our rails. So I've got them laid out upside down on the tailgate here. Let's go ahead and put them on. So we'll just grab the two that match up with the corners here and push them in place. Just line them up and push firmly down. Now the way this works is this portion right here is going to plug in right here. With one side being done, let's go ahead and repeat the same process for the other side. With both rails plugged into our tonneau cover assembly, we need to make sure that it is lined up with the inside of the truck bed. So this portion right here needs to match up with this portion right here. So I'm just going to move it forward until I've got it where I want it. Now it needs to be like that on both sides. We also need to be sure that the rail is flush with the inside portion of the truck bed rail, like this. Now let's install our clamps. So you'll need to make sure they're loosened up and opened up, just like this. The first one we need to install as closest to the cab as we can. So it's going to be in this area here. what we want to do is kind of turn it at an angle. The bottom portion here needs to go underneath the truck bed rail, and then the top we can go over and set it in place on the grooves here. So you need to make sure that the teeth line up with the grooves on top of the rail. Now we also need to be sure that when we tighten up our clamp, it can raise up without interfering with anything underneath. So we need to make sure that that can go up all the way. Once we've got it where we want it, we can go ahead and raise up the bottom and then hand tighten it down. Just gonna make sure that it remains in place. Once I've got it as far as I can take it, I'll take my 1/2-inch wrench and tighten that down. For our center clamp, we're gonna go ahead and skip over that and do the tailgate end. We'll repeat the same process with the rail on the other side, and then we're going to check our fit. For our rear clamp, we're going to install it as closest to the tailgate end as we can. Once we get this side done, we can go ahead and repeat that same process on the driver's side. Now let's unroll it all the way to the end here. We want to make sure that this plate here fits into the notches on our latch on each side. Just like that. And then we want to pull down with both hands and make sure it fits in. If everything looks good and fits good and we don't need to make adjustments, let's go ahead and roll it back up and do our center clamps. We're going to install it right here just above the wheel well in the center. And we'll do just the same. Bring it underneath, make sure all the grooves are lined up, and then we can tighten it down. With our center clamps in place, let's go ahead and unroll our tonneau cover once more and put on our last weather seals. We'll take our last 2 weather seals and we're going to put them right here on each side. Once we've got it in place, let's go ahead and push it firmly down, and you're all set. With all of our seals in place, we can go ahead and close it up completely. Just use both hands, pull it down, and then we can close up our tailgate. Let's go ahead and connect our hook and loop on the side here, all the way down. Then on this side, the idea is to pull towards you and then fasten it. And that's going to give it a smooth surface. And that's going to complete our installation on the TruXedo TruXport Soft Roll-Up Tonneau Cover, part number TX279101 on our 2017.
Click the link below to shop, learn more, or visit us at eTrailer.com.